Maximize your yields while spreading out your workload with the earliest maturing winter cereal. Visit kws.com/CA to see how our hybrid rye varieties can work for you. High yields, high quality, high value for your farm. KWS, seeding the future since 1856.
It's time for RealAg Radio on Rural Radio Channel 147 on Sirius XM. RealAg Radio and RealAgriculture.com is your home for insight and analysis of the issues that are impacting your farm business. Let's get real and get connected with RealAg Radio. Welcome to RealAg Radio here on Rural Radio 147, Sirius XM. Shaun Haney, your host here on this Tuesday edition of the show. Hey, thanks so much for making RealAg Radio and Rural Radio 147 a big part of your workday. Well, as I mentioned yesterday on the show, super excited about today's program. We are here for Game 2 of the 2024 InVigor Series, and we are in Edmonton, Alberta. And it is brought to you by BASF Canada Agricultural Solutions and InVigor Hybrid Canola. And we are celebrating the community, farming communities in one of their favorite pastimes, baseball. We're also going to be talking about the community involvement of 4-H as well here today. Kind of a special treat today on the program. Make sure that BASF, we do a lot of different agronomic content as well. So make sure you check out the Canola School that is brought to you by BASF Canada, as well as InVigor Hybrid Canola. You can find that at canolaschool.com. And of course, we will be talking about canola tonight. And BASF and InVigor have 3 new InVigor hybrids that they are very, very excited about. We're going to be hearing about that tonight from Michelle Chabot. She is Technical Services Specialist with BASF Canada. We're also going to be talking to some local 4-H members. We got Camille Kassian. She is club president, I believe, of the Vermilion 4-H Club. Also could be the Innisfree-Minburn Club. We'll talk to them about that when we get them here on the panel. And Callie Sen is also a member of the club as well. So we're going to talk about the importance of 4-H in their community and as they develop life skills. And we're going to put their public speaking to the test here today for sure. We're also going to have time for a farmer panel as well. We got a huge crowd of people here. If you looked at my Instagram, at Shaun Haney or at RealAgriculture, you see that there is a massive crowd here with BASF and InVigor Hybrid Canola to watch this evening's game between the Edmonton Riverhawks and Nanaimo's in town. Yes, Nanaimo's in town. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We got bands playing. We got people having some hamburgers and hot dogs, some cold drinks. It is a party atmosphere, and it's great that RealAg Radio is on location. This is a lot of fun. I love these kind of events and these kind of shows. It is a great time. Ran into a bunch of RealAg fans, some listeners, regular listeners of the program. It is great to see lots of friendly faces as well. Hey, if you have any feedback on today's show, of course, you can send me an email, shaney@realagriculture.com. You can also find Real Agriculture across all the different social media platforms. You're also more than welcome to call the RealAg feedback line, 855-776-6147. And, of course, if you listen to this program, you know that baseball is one of my absolute, not just my loves, but our family's love. And it was really funny. Walked into the event here about 2 hours before the ball game, and the first person I run into is an Nanaimo player who is roommates with my oldest son. So David Stewart is pitching for Nanaimo, and I run into David, and he's my roommates with my oldest son, Caleb, at the University of Mary there in Bismarck, North Dakota. So they're not playing summer ball together, but it was great to see. That is just, baseball is such a small world, and of course, so is farming. We've talked before about the seasonal nature and just, the opportunity of just, it's the sign of spring and the summer season, baseball. And, of course, also that historic connection, right, between baseball and some of the local communities. I remember, seeing pictures of my grandfather in Sundial, Alberta, playing for the men's baseball team. They would travel all over the place. Actually, we still have his uniform from way back in the it'd be the 40s and 50s that he was playing. Of course, those kind of things spur that passionate, emotional connection between the sport and our local communities. And, of course, everybody just trying to strive to do their best. We're going to see the players on the field here tonight between Edmonton and Nanaimo striving for their best. And I know all the BASF and InVigor customers here are striving to do their best in the fields. With all of the adversity and opportunity that happens in any sort of a growing season, they are ready to take on the challenge. And, of course, we've also got the lineups, and as I mentioned, we are going to hear tonight about InVigor Hybrid Canola's robust lineup as they have a fit for every field to help you achieve excellence. We're going to hear about those 3 new hybrids coming up here. Okay, when we come back, we're going to talk to Michelle Chabot. She is Technical Services Specialist with BASF Canada. We're going to hear about those 3 new hybrids, and we're also going to talk about clubroot. We're in Edmonton. This is kind of where clubroot all started in Western Canada. We're going to find out how we're doing in the battle against that disease. You're listening to RealAg Radio, broadcasting here from the InVigor Series in Edmonton, Alberta. It's now time for a product spotlight. Vice President of Investor Relations with Genesis Fertilizers, it is Barry Mann. What impact are these global trends having on Canadian farmers?
When you look at the shipping routes and you look at the actual maps of where fertilizer is moving around the world, you really don't see a lot coming into North America, right? There's enough just to kind of meet that demand. So we're targeting those farmers that want to be directly vertically integrated, because Genesis will sell at market price. We're just joining the market. But the difference is, instead of major hedge funds and foreign governments owning our fertilizer production, it's going to be owned by the farmers. So the farmers are coming on, they're investing to a level that represents their fertilizer usage on the farm. They then receive the profits and the dividends on those tons. So their net fertilizer price at the end of the day will be closer to the manufacturer's cost, which right now is about $240 in Western Canada. So when it's selling at $700 or $800 or in 2022, $1,250, there's a significant amount of profitability that are going to come back to the farm.
Make sure you go to genesisfertilizers.com.
The Pulse School on RealAgriculture.com has everything you need to get your crop off to a great start and a strong finish. Whether you're growing chickpeas, faba beans, lentils, or peas, you'll get all the latest and best agronomic information at PulseSchool.com. A library of top-notch agronomy videos from industry experts available on demand at your fingertips. Visit the Pulse School, brought to you by BASF on RealAgriculture.com.
Welcome back to RealAg Radio. We're here with the InVigor Hybrid Canola from BASF Agricultural Solutions for Game 2 of the 2024 InVigor Series in Edmonton, Alberta, where the Edmonton Riverhawks are facing the Nanaimo Night Owls. We'll be talking to the InVigor team, local BASF representatives, and a panel of farmers today all about canola community. And, of course, my favorite sport, baseball. And we are having a great time here. It is a fantastic night here in Edmonton. A little smoky. A little bit smoky, but we've got a nice night here of baseball, so we're gonna enjoy it and take whatever Mother Nature wants to deliver. Some rain in parts of Western Canada would be quite welcome, to be honest with you. So we would take a little bit of sprinkle tonight after the game is over, of course. Joining us right now is Michelle Chabot. She is Technical Services Specialist with BASF Canada. Hey, Michelle. Great to chat with you.
Hey, Shaun. How's it going?
It's going great. So tell us about what you do at BASF.
So I'm a technical service specialist with Central Alberta. So what I do is a lot of field trials with different growers. So this will be our DSTs, InVigor DSTs, and then some crop protection trials. So looking at fungicides or pre-seeds, different things like that, as well as just supporting our sales staff.
Nice. So you get to see a lot of different stuff in the field.
Yes. Yeah, it's nice. I come from a strictly canola background, and now I get to see pulses, cereals, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, because you worked in breeding before, right?
I did, yes.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so it's really interesting and to see a different side of things and to interact with our customers as well.
Nice stuff. Well, you enjoy the baseball tonight?
I will, yeah. I've never been to a baseball game, so this is going to be pretty cool.
I said pardon? Are you serious?
I've been to, small town beer league stuff, but not an actual... game like this.
Like a game?
Yeah.
Well, looky here. There's a first time for everything. Okay, so we are in the Edmonton area.
Yes.
This is, now I don't want to overstate it, but I think of this as sort of the beginning of clubroot in Western
100%.
Canada. So I guess start us from a technical perspective. What is clubroot, and why should we be concerned about it, or why are we concerned about it?
Yeah, so clubroot is a soil-borne disease, so that becomes the biggest problem. It's moved by soil, so it's moved by our equipment, animals, basically anything that's moving soil, including wind. So that becomes a big concern. What clubroot does is it forms galls on the roots, which then limits the uptake of nutrients. So starting probably about this time of year is when we can really see the effects of it in the field, and we'll see premature ripening. So with premature ripening, if you have a whole field that's affected, your whole yield is then affected. So it becomes a big problem.
Yeah, like we're major yield loss.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And the impact, if you do have it, is, it's years out of rotation.
100%. Yeah. It becomes a problem, and depending on the county, that's where different things, they have different limitations of what you can do. And BASF, we have different recommendations as well.
Yeah, okay. So what areas are seeing the biggest impact from clubroot now? Because it's just not an Edmonton thing.
No.
It's other areas as well.
Yeah, so it's spread from the Edmonton area. It's spread north. It's spread south. We now see it in Saskatchewan, Manitoba, as well as northern U.S. So it's basically an issue almost everywhere. There are areas where it's more of an issue than others, so that Edmonton area still remains a hot spot. That's where we're starting to see resistance and first-generation breakdown and having more effect there, but that doesn't mean it's not also happening in other areas.
Yeah, unfortunately with diseases, Aphanomyces and pulses, clubroot and canola, it doesn't, or stripe rust coming north.
Yes.
That border, it just sort of crosses. It doesn't need to talk to a border guard.
100%.
Okay, so now you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I just want to come back to it to emphasize it. How do we identify it? The galls?
The galls,
And
yeah.
Okay, so what is a gall? What is that?
So like what's the best way to say it? A different formation of the root. So typically a canola root, it should be nice and straight. This will have lumps on it. So when you pull it out of the ground, depending on the severity, you'll have different number of lumps and different size of lumps. So if you have a lot of clubroot in your field, you're going to have these big clumps on your roots, and your roots will just not look healthy at all.
And then it can't take up moisture? Is that what happens?
Yeah, it can't take up moisture, and it's bringing basically everything to those galls rather than to the rest of the plant. So you're limiting the uptake of nutrients just throughout the plant and focusing all its energy on those galls.
Oh, so the galls basically starve the plant.
In a sense,
okay,
yes.
I'm making it too simple maybe. Okay, I'm a wannabe agronomist.
It happens. It works.
Okay, we'll go with that. Now, best management practices. This is something that has really evolved over time.
Yes.
When we first identified it, we had a certain list of protocols. Yeah. But as we've had to deal with the disease and live with it and try to manage it, that has sort of changed. So what is BASF saying now for BRMs?
Yeah, so scouting is the main thing. Let's see, is it in your field? To what severity is it in your field? And if it is in your field, then that's how we then look at managing it. So keeping your rotation a minimum of 1 to 3 years would be our first step.
Okay.
So having a diverse rotation as well. And then next would be looking at clubroot genetics. So are you just new to having clubroot in your area? Is it something that's been there for a while? Are you starting to see breakdown of first generation, clubroot resistance? If not, then if you are, then you go switch into a second generation.
Okay. Washing off equipment?
So that's something that is a nice to have. Unfortunately, it's not realistic. So it's something that a lot of researchers will do because everything is typically small scale.
Ag in Motion they were doing the sanitation mats for your vehicle.
100%, yeah. So at smaller scales like that, but unfortunately for most growers, they don't have the time. Especially this year, there were a lot of areas that was really wet. So if you were trying to wash all your equipment off as you were leaving the field, it would have taken you hours. Yeah, so I mean, if you can, knock off as much as you can. And maybe try, if you know you have clubroot in some of your fields, try and go to your fields that don't have clubroot first or that you're aware of, and then go kind of least severe to most severe.
Yeah, like think about your air drill.
Yes.
And in cleaning off all those shanks.
100%.
Yeah.
And your packers and everything.
The packers can be a huge mess.
Yes.
Oh, man. Okay, so what are some of the... You're inside the BASF tent. What are some of the things that BASF's doing to contribute to kind of a better understanding of what we're dealing with here with clubroot?
Yeah, so we're going to be we are part of the Canola Council of Canada's clubroot steering committee. And what that is they're looking at a labeling initiative. So that's something that we are a part of. And then recently, BASF has also released a predominant clubroot pathotype chart. So it now indicates which predominant clubroot pathotypes that we are resistant to for our InVigor hybrids.
You mentioned before first and second generation. Like, how do I get better educated on that kind of stuff?
For sure.
Because people like you throw it out and they're talking about it, but
yeah.
I'm going to speak for some people in the audience. It's like I'm going to put my hand up and sort of say, can you ask the dumb question? So I'm going to ask
yes.
it. How do I?
And that's a great question, because the thing is not every company is labeling clubroot the same way.
Oh, that's convenient. That's good.
Yes.
Yeah, that provides clarity.
So with BASF, our first generation is the first initial resistance that came out. So it's a Mendel resistance. It's something that most companies will have, and it's the same. So we're resistant to 5 different predominant clubroot pathotypes. And then when it comes to second generation, that's where everything gets complicated.
Okay.
So with BASF, we have some different hybrids that now have more resistance to predominant clubroot pathotypes than some of the initial ones. So basically what it means is that if you can no longer grow, or you're starting to find clubroot in those first generation clubroot resistant hybrids, you can grow a second gen and be able to be fine for at least a time being. Okay. How long? That's the magic question.
Now, I was actually talking to a couple BASF, some of your BASF colleagues on the InVigor team a couple weeks ago. We were talking about these 3 new early InVigor hybrids that they're very excited about for the 2025 season.
Yes.
Talk about some of the details. Why should we be excited?
So we're releasing 3 new hybrids, so that in itself is really exciting. The first 2, I guess, will be our InVigor L330 PC and InVigor L333 PC. These are 2 new first-generation hybrids, so really excited for those. They're earlier maturing, which is really exciting, and it's been an ask for virtually across all of Western Canada, so we're really happy to be able to deliver that. And then really excited with InVigor L341 PC. This is our new second-gen clubroot-resistant hybrid, and that's going to be an awesome fit for this Edmonton area where we're at right now, and just to be able to give growers another option.
That's very exciting, and they're early.
Yeah, that's the exciting part. We've been able to come out with a lot of very innovative hybrids over the past few years, but now we finally get to have something that's on the earlier side.
I like how that hybrid letters and number combination just sort of rolls off your tongue.
You say it for as many years, it just starts to become such second nature.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and you know what? Please talk to your local retailer about these 3 new InVigor hybrids. Like anything new that comes out of InVigor, it goes fast, so you're gonna have to act quickly. Okay,
100%.
So yeah, for sure. So please talk to your local retailer, and if you do have any questions, talk to members of the InVigor and BASF team in your local territory. Well, Michelle, this has been fantastic.
Thanks, Shaun.
You are a natural at this.
It's a first for me doing this as well, so definitely excited to be here.
It was great to chat with you, and enjoy your very first ever baseball game, which I am still in a little bit flabbergasted about, but we'll talk about that during the commercial break. And Michelle, thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thanks, Shaun.
Okay, that is Michelle Chabot. She is Technical Services Specialist with BASF. Hey, when we come back, we're gonna focus on 4-H a little bit. We've got a 4-H club president and a club member out of the Vermilion 4-H club. 4-H, a very, very important thing, obviously. BASF, huge proponents of 4-H in Canada. And I know many of you are as well, and we'll do that when we come back. You're listening to RealAg Radio, broadcasting, of course, from the InVigor Series here in Edmonton, Alberta. We'll be back right after this.
If you're involved in the agriculture industry, it's important to stay informed on all the latest issues affecting your business. At RealAgriculture.com, we offer fast, reliable news, information, and insights to help you keep on top of all of the latest in Canadian agriculture. Visit RealAgriculture.com and sign up for our free daily newsletter covering everything from news, agronomy, animal agriculture, and much more. Visit RealAgriculture.com/subscribe today.
It's now time for a product spotlight with Vatterstad. Director of Sales for Western Canada is Philip Korzak.
The market and our customers specifically have been asking for increased capacity in their seeding systems so that they can stay in the field longer. So Vatterstad is very excited, offering an all-new size in our precision delivery tank line, which is our biggest that we now have. This 1,350 bushel cart will have individual weight scales on each bin, individual electronic metering for each primary per bin, industry-leading section control, and more features that are out there. Unique to this new PD 1350 are a redesigned front axle, allowing for the accommodation of dual tires. The rear axle is also getting a larger set of tires. He will have 900 dual. So with this increased footprint front and rear, compaction is minimized. A hydraulically engaged braking system is on the rear axle to also ensure the safety of our operators with this large amount of product.
So if somebody wants more information, Philip, where do they go?
Vatterstad.com. Go under the seating tab. You're more than welcome to reach out to your local Vatterstad dealer for more information.
Tonight we're celebrating 10 years and farmers planting more than 80 million acres of InVigor hybrid canola. 80 million acres. Also, of course, with pod shatter reduction technology, BASF is excited to introduce 3 new InVigor hybrids for 2025, as we just heard about. Reach out to your local BASF Canada Ag Solutions rep to learn more. Well, this is exciting because 4-H is so important to the youth of Canadian agriculture, and really its tentacles go beyond agriculture, but I think a lot of times when we think about 4-H, we think of ag. We are joined right now by 2 local 4-H members. They're from the Vermilion 4-H Club. Up first, we have Camille Kassian. She is club president. Camille, it's great to meet you.
You too.
Okay, and also joining us is Callie Sen, who is a club member. Callie, how are you doing?
Good.
Okay, so I guess up first, how long have you been in 4-H?
This is my 9th year.
9 years.
Yeah.
And how about you, Callie?
This is my first year in the beef club.
First year. So what got you into 4-H?
Well, I used to do the multi-club, and then last year my brother did it as a cleaver, and I thought it was pretty cool, so I decided to do it this year because my multi-club got shut down. So.
Did it? Okay. Yeah. And, of course, we're past having the sale, right? So now we're in kind of we call this the off-season? Is that what we call it? Okay. Recuperate a little bit. Okay. Camille, we'll start with you. Tell us about your role and involvement in 4-H.
Well, over the past 9 years, I've held a couple different positions throughout our club, but we have our sale every year, and we get lots of community support through that, and lots of buyers coming out to support our club, and
So in this club is all beef?
Yep.
Okay. So how did you do on your animal this year?
Pretty good. Our club had a big increase in numbers this year, so we had lots of new members joining us, and our sale went through really well. We were happy with how it went. So, yeah.
So how many members are in the club?
We have about 25 members and 5 cleavers, so we're up to 30.
And what's a cleaver?
So you have to be 9 years old to join the club. So as a cleaver, you're underage, but you're still a part of our club, and you get to show a baby calf instead of a big steer. Okay,
good stuff. Okay, so Callie, I'm curious from your perspective. You know, you're new to this beef club. Did you get to meet a whole bunch of new people?
Yeah.
Yeah, was that pretty cool?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, do you live on a farm now?
I've always lived on a farm.
Always have? Okay. And so what kind of inspired you to get into 4-H? What was it about 4-H that was like, hey, I want to do this? Parents said so, or?
No, it's kind of just something, like my dad used to do 4-H, and then, and I just wanted something else to do.
Yeah.
Something fun.
Did you have to do public speaking this year?
Yeah.
Did you like that part? A little nervous?
I liked it, but it's kind of nerve-wracking.
Well, but think about how much it prepared you for this today, right? Some of those same sort of skills. I was in 4-H, and I can remember doing some of the public speaking. And do you like doing the training of the calf through the winter months and trying to train it and halter break and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's a good learning experience.
Yeah? What are some of the things that you kind of learned?
You kind of learn how to you learn lots about your animal. You learn their personality and what they like, and lots of good stuff.
I can remember getting drug around. Camille, did you get drug around by your calf?
A couple times, yeah.
It can be a bit of a rodeo once in a while, but it's about building trust and being like consistency, right? Being out there lots.
Yeah. The more you're out there, the better your calf is. So.
Yeah. Were you out there feeding your animal every morning?
Every morning, every night, yeah.
Oh, goodness. It takes a lot of work.
It does, but it's worth it in the end.
Yeah. What were some of the big, in the end, what were some of the big learnings that you had from 4-H?
I think, just being in the agricultural industry, I really enjoy working with cattle. And I know that's going to take me far in my life. And just, the connections I've made through 4-H. And, of course, public speaking. Yep. That gives you lots of knowledge that you're going to hold with you forever, right?
Yeah, well, and again, it helps you with events like this, right?
Exactly, yeah.
There's a lot of farmers here. So you're going to get to meet lots of different people, for sure. We're at a baseball game here, which, of course, has a long rural and small town history, as does 4-H. So there's a big connection from that perspective. Camille, can you talk about some of the history of the club? How long's it been around?
Well, next year will be our 60th year.
60th?
Yeah.
Good for you.
So we're pretty proud about that. And, we used to have, our membership has dropped and it's risen, but recently we've had quite a few new members, so we're happy about that. And our club has been going pretty strong, and we got a good community support, so we are thankful for that.
Yeah, for sure. Well put, well spoken. So, BASF, as I mentioned, is a corporate sponsor of 4-H. When we think about some of the funding, Camille, that companies like BASF are providing to 4-H, there's other companies that are supporting it as well. Kind of an all hands on deck. Where does some of that? What does some of that money go to? What are some of the activities that you're doing throughout the year that I'm sure some of those funds are helping out with?
Well, it really helps out with our show and sale day. We are able to put on a good meal for our buyers with the funds. We can get things for our sale day. We have banners for our members and stuff like that they are provided with when they win Grand Champion. And just throughout the year we go to club activities, and it helps pay for that, so it's very nice.
Yeah. Callie, what did you end up doing with your money you got for your calf?
Saving it, putting it in the bank for
nice.
when I'm older.
Good for you. How about you, Camille?
I've been saving it, yeah.
You've been saving it. Look at these are two financially responsible ladies. That is fantastic. Do you still have to do the record keeping?
Yep.
It's not that fun, is it?
Nope.
No. You learn though. It teaches you. Yeah, it's like one of those things. I'm not very good at paperwork, so I would still have to fight through it. But I think it's one of those really, really cool learning lessons for sure. So we'll wrap up with this. When we think about small town communities, is 4-H kind of a real critical part of the small town community in Vermilion? Is it kind of a hub, what a lot of the kids are doing and participating in?
Our club is actually Innisfree-Minburn, not Vermilion.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Vermilion's close to us, but we're Innisfree-Minburn. And, there's lots of farm families that are in our club. And even some that they may not live on a farm, but their grandparents do. Yeah. And they're able to join our club, so we're thankful for the community support we get through that.
Callie, are you excited for the baseball game?
Yep.
Yeah? Do you like baseball?
Yeah, I don't really go to too many games, but yeah.
You like to watch it?
Yeah. My brother plays softball, so.
Oh, cool. Awesome. And how about you, Camille? Are you excited for the game?
Yeah, it should be a good game, so.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. Well, this is fantastic. We got Camille Kassian, we got Callie Sen, 4-H members doing some great work, and again, just a great example of what 4-H is all about, and these are two future people in agriculture that will probably owe a lot to their upbringing in 4-H. So, girls, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, when we come back on RealAg Radio, we've got time for, we're going to have a farmer panel. We're going to rope some farmers together here, and we're going to talk about what's going on in those fields. You're listening to RealAg Radio. We are broadcasting from the InVigor Series, and we're in Edmonton. We'll be back right after this.
Does your N stabilizer contain an active ingredient load high enough to be agronomically effective? If not, it could be costing you time and money. If you're putting down a nitrogen stabilizer, put your trust in Koch Agronomic Services. Solutions like Super U, Tribune, and Anvil. Each delivers high active ingredient concentrations that low-rate products just can't match. Compare how imitator products stack up to agronomically effective solutions at defendyourn.ca.
I'm Lindsay Smith from RealAgriculture.com. Join me Monday nights for The Agronomists, a 1-hour live and interactive show broadcast across YouTube, Facebook, and X. Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, I host expert agronomists from all over the country to give you answers to some of the toughest agronomic questions. Join us live or catch the replay Tuesday morning. That's The Agronomists with me, Lindsay Smith, Monday nights live at 8 p.m. Eastern.
And welcome back to Real Ag Radio here on Rural Radio 147, Sirius XM. Of course, we're at Game 2 of the 2024 InVigor Series presented by InVigor Hybrid Canola from BASF Canada Agricultural Solutions. Swing for the fences and harvest your full potential with InVigor's high-yielding hybrids, clubroot-resistant genetics, and industry-leading patented pod shatter reduction technology. This year, BASF is happy to be celebrating the Canadian farm families and retailers who have championed pod shatter reduction technology for 10 years. 80 million acres we talked about earlier. It's hard to get my head wrapped around that one. Okay, let's do a farmer panel here. The game is underway. We are we're bottom of first, and home. The good guys are losing 2-0. So hopefully Edmonton mounts a comeback here against Nanaimo. Well, I was able to pull two farmers away from the action here to quickly do a farmer panel, which I greatly appreciate. Up first, we have Jeff Harvey, who's out of Ponoka. Hey, Jeff, great to meet you.
Good to meet you as well. Thanks for having me on today.
Okay, so tell us about your farm.
We are on a 1,500-acre farm and 325 cow-calf pairs. We have our fourth generation just joining us now on the farm. My son is there and working with us, so the farm's been in that same location for quite a while.
Not a bad time to have cattle in the operation,
yes,
my friend.
Not bad. A little tough on the grass and the water side, to be honest. That's always a bit of a struggle. We were just out this morning hoping we found some of each with the cows, and so far so good. But we're having to bring in some solar pump and other technologies to try to make sure we can get through the summer this year. So
to try to get water to the animals.
Yeah. Keep it where they can get to it and keep the quality up a little bit. So
calving season went well?
Well, it went really well, actually. Just before we came up today at about 3 o'clock.
Oh, I heard you were pulling calves.
Yes, I had to pull a calf. So that's not really part of the plan, but sometimes the summer calving situation gets you in trouble.
Hey, you're outside of your window a little bit, aren't you?
Yeah, a little bit, but I should always know never check the cows an hour before you're supposed to head to Edmonton. So it was really my own fault, to be honest. So yeah.
Crops are looking okay?
Crops are doing okay. A little heat stress. They could sure use some rain, but I'm surprised at how good the canola and the wheat is still looking. So hopefully we get some good news in the weather front here.
Well, we'll talk about that a little bit more here in a second. Also joining us is, I would say, a very good friend of the program. Are you comfortable with that?
Friend of the program.
Friend of the program. You like that?
Good.
It is John Guelly, who is in Westlock, Alberta, north of Edmonton. John, how are you doing?
Really good. Just got back from vacation in San Fran, where it was 15 degrees cooler than here.
Yeah.
So it's been a little bit of a, shock to the system, but I like heat, so it's good. Crops are hanging in, and yeah, it's good. Okay. It's great to be at a ball game tonight.
Absolutely. And as I was driving up from Edmonton, from Lethbridge to Edmonton, jeepers, I'm
turned around.
I am turned around, up, down, sideways here. As I was driving up, there is some good-looking crops from the road driving 100 and 130 kilometers an hour. But as you're driving up, things look pretty good. But I'm sure when you get in the canopy, there is some stress. Like we're starting to see that barley turn, which we're a little bit early for that, right?
Yeah, it's starting to get a little, that purple is coming early, and it's not good. I mean, the good soil is holding in fairly well. But as soon as you get to that patch that you know and your grandpa knows, and that patch has never done so well, it's starting to suffer.
Okay. Well, Jeff, you're from south of the city here in Ponoka. How, give us a synopsis on the crops. What looks cereal's the best?
You know, the early wheat looks good, but we're really seeing this year again, the land that was good is good, and the marginal stuff's really starting to suffer now. So the sandy hills, the sandy fields, they're starting to turn a little bit. There's some barley crops in our area this week that have gone from looking not bad to yellowing fast. I think we could see combines rolling here before the month is out, perhaps. So certainly the marginal ones are showing up. The good soil, the good management practices, they seem like they're hanging in there.
Yeah.
And if they can make it through this week and we can get a shot of rain, I think there's still some potential there. But
and we're always talking relative to where our expectations are or they were, right? And so it can be a little bit confusing. I was on radio in Saskatchewan on Monday, and the host on the Saskatchewan station said, "Boy, you're sure negative about the crops." I'm like, "Well, it's relative to where we were 3 weeks ago."
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
But so would we still say average? It's not below that yet, is it?
That's kind of what I've been thinking. We're in and around average. The good spots are a little better than average, and the bad spots are going to take us down. We're right in that average. We need some rain, and looks like there's some in the forecast in the next few days, but not very big totals. But it's cloudy at least. That's a plus.
We'll take that. Does all the smoke we're seeing here? Does it bring rain?
Not yet.
No wives' tales about that?
No 90-day fog.
Doesn't bring rain, but it sure slows down the sun a little bit,
It does.
It's got to help the crops. It sure helped us, 3 years ago when we had the big...
Buys us some time.
Yeah.
Didn't we find out that year the canola cured a little bit? It took a while?
Yeah.
Isn't that what
it
happened?
was slow moving at the end.
Yeah. Huh.
But no year's ever the same, right? So
that's true.
God knows what we're going to get this year.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jeff.
I think at our place, we had potential for some pretty good crops. Early we had some moisture to start things off. Things look really good. Sort of a reverse of last year. We were so worried early, and then we got that late rain, and things turned out better than we expected. I think this year we might find out that things end up being a little worse than we expected. And I think average is probably what we're looking at now if we don't get some more rain here pretty soon.
Okay. Well, I think that's a very good... You guys laid the groundwork there, a very honest impression of what's going on. I appreciate that indeed.
We lie well.
You got to be optimistic, right?
You do. Well, I live in the Palliser Triangle, so that's like our motto. We have T-shirts. Got to be optimistic.
I always tell the kids it's better to be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. So,
yeah, I like that. It's very true. Very, very true. Okay, so all in all, though, Jeff, if I was to ask you, hey, what's been one of the wins this year on the farm? What would you say?
We've started adapting a little SWOT mapping and VRing on our farm this year, and
cool.
And that went fairly well. The transition I thought might give us a little more trouble, and other than that, tech call in the first field, crying on the phone, it's gone pretty well.
Yeah.
We'll see what the results are like, and maybe this hasn't been a perfect year to see them with the way the weather's gone, but we managed to implement that, and hopefully moving forward that'll help us control our input costs and a little bit and manage our fertilizer use. So that's sort of been a big thing for us this year.
John, how about you? What's been a win for you on the farm?
I mean, we were in that little tiny area in Western Canada that was so wet last August.
Like really wet.
Really wet, like muddy, like dragging combines through the mud, cleaning tires out. It was crazy. So a win now is that we're not in that situation, and that rain or moisture we had then has carried us through this hot spell right now. So that's a win, and I hope we don't get back to where we were last August. But again, it sure would be nice to have some rain this year. But it's a win just not to have to think about the mud we're going to have to go through, or hopefully.
Is my memory correct where it was like a significant amount of rain in a very short period of time? Or do I have that wrong?
Well, it started June 13th, and then it never quit till middle of August. I think you're thinking when we talked years ago, we had 9 inches of rain in 36 hours in the early part of August. That was different again. But every year is different, right?
It is. Jeff, grass conditions, how are they?
Yeah, they're struggling again. Any of the pastures that aren't quite as good, they're certainly yellowing fast. I don't think grass is going to be a big issue this year, like not as much as some other years. Water's a little more of a problem, but certainly the grass has deteriorated. We came into July 1st looking pretty good all around, and now we've had not much rain since July 1st and a lot of hot weather, so they're certainly turning fast.
Yeah, people are blaming me because I was complaining how cold it was. And, like July 1st, I'm at a baseball game and I'm wearing a jacket. What is that about in the afternoon? And the temperature has turned up in Western Canada and kind of ill-timed, to be honest with you, canola and flour. Yeah. But you know what? We were talking about new hybrids earlier here with BASF, and we've seen this in corn. We see it in canola, where sometimes we have to be careful how pessimistic we get about, because some of these new hybrids really perform in some pretty adverse conditions. The U.S. farmers figuring that out with corn for sure. Last year and this year, it's hard to tell where the yield's going to be. It looks pretty good, all things considered. So, what are some of the things you're doing with canola as far as hybrid selection, Jeff, on your farm?
We're doing 343 PC again this year, and we've had good results with it in the past. And we didn't sell the swather. We've always kept the swather, but we're usually doing some late season silaging and some early harvesting on the wheat crop. So it gives us the opportunity to delay that swathing a little bit later, get a little more maturity across the board, swath that canola, let it sit, and then come back to it, 2 weeks later down the line when it's dry, and we can worry about the cereals and get them in the bin.
So you're not necessarily straight cutting. You're going pod shatter and then still swathing.
Yeah, we're using it to manage harvest from a swathing delay point of view, not from a straight cut point of view. So,
John, how about you?
Sounds like you read from the same Bible that I do. Love the pod shatter. Not a big fan of straight cutting, doing that late swathing. Yeah. We're going 343 as well this year. It's looking really good. It's the new hybrids seem to be able to take the heat even better. Like I was looking, we don't see a lot of heat blast yet at this point.
Yep.
It's amazing what they can do with that.
I'm surprised how good the flower is looking with the heat we've had. I don't know in Westlock, but in Ponoka it's been 10 days, 12 days now we've had without too much break, and it's still looking pretty. Don't get me wrong, it's not ideal, but it's still looking good flowering, and we'll see what the pod set's looking like.
It's something, right? That flowering time is critical, right?
Yeah.
If we saw the heat blast, then we know we're getting super concerned. So the better condition we keep that flower in as it goes through the flowering period, and especially there's lots of talk about that the longer you extend that flowering period, the more that relates to yield. So. Anything that the breeders, people smarter than any of us can do to be able to provide those kind of characteristics is awesome. Like, I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
Right?
We've got basically two different stages of crops in our area.
Interesting.
We got started seeding on the canola, and then it rained for almost a week. So the first crop, pretty much finished blooming last weekend and got the first batch of heat. And now the second one is just going through this week's heat. So it'll be interesting to see which one ends up better off. I don't know which one it's going to be.
Same kind of thing, Jeff?
Very similar. Like we said before, we had some of that early canola. The blooms just come off here in the last week or so. The later stuff, it's in full flower now, and I anticipate it'll be there for another 7 or 10 days. And they're two distinct fields, really. So we had a rain event as well, which sort of gave that break.
Is the earliest stuff looking the best? Or not necessarily?
I was looking at some neighbor stuff that was in a little earlier than mine today, and there's, other than flower staging, the plant's looking about the same for height, and it looks pretty close.
And canola can be tough.
Yeah.
Until that combine rolls.
Yeah. So I was going to say, until the combine goes through in September.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's a very tough crop to judge. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, corn, we can go out there and we can measure the girth of the cob, the length of the cob, the kernels. Like canola, it's a little bit tougher than that. We can do like a hug test, like we bunch it, and it's a little fuller hug this year.
Have you done the hug test?
Yeah, I think I have a friend that calls it the Scotty Bunch test. And if he's listening, he'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So, okay. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. We are at the InVigor Series here in Edmonton, Alberta, and really appreciate Jeff Harvey and John Guelly joining me here. We got one more segment. We'll be back. You're listening to RealAg Radio, Rural Radio 147, Sirius XM.
Since 2010, the Wheat School on RealAgriculture.com has been helping farmers to grow great wheat. Covering everything from markets, the latest research, pest and disease control, all the way down to on-farm trials, the Wheat School has everything your crop needs. Check out our massive video library on YouTube and grow great wheat with the Wheat School, brought to you by Syngenta Canada, C&M Seeds, and Alberta Grains.
Advanced canola trait technology is here. And it's soon to be the talk of the town. Optimum Glide delivers excellent yield potential and agronomic trait performance. Improved crop safety. Enhanced weed control. And a wider window of application. You're going to want to see this. Learn more at OptimumGlide.ca.
And welcome back to RealAg Radio, broadcasting here from the InVigor Series in Edmonton, Alberta. Looks like we've completed 2 innings, and it's still 2-0 for the bad guys.
Boo!
Yeah, this is pretty cool. There's a lot of people here. There's a lot of customers. This is a hopping event. We had a band earlier. The music's a pretty good vibe at this game.
It's good.
I'm liking it.
I enjoy this.
Now, during the commercial break, you guys were chatting. First Riverhawks game?
Yep.
It is, Jeff, eh?
Yes.
John, you as well?
First one.
Well, look at this experience. You know, earlier, Michelle from BASF had first ever baseball game.
Wow.
There's first for everybody around here tonight. I'm actually surprised that Gilly's here because I thought he would still be in mourning about his Oilers.
Well, it was a hell of a run.
It was a great run.
We were right to the end. We're that far away, right?
Yeah.
Boy, that was close.
But if you're not first, you're last. There is that, John.
Ricky Bobby.
But it was a good run.
It was a good run. I really enjoyed it. I'm hoping we can do it again, but I know it's really hard to get back there. So they've kind of signed everybody that got them there and a couple extra, but that doesn't always get you right back where you were. So
you're wearing a Blue Jays jersey. That the Oilers are looking more hopeful than the Blue Jays right now.
Yes, the Blue Jays do not look good. Although we were in San Fran and watched 3 games, and they won 2 out of 3.
Isn't that a beautiful ballpark?
It's a very nice ballpark.
Yeah, I've been there once.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
And it's amazing the temperature difference from there to say Fisherman's Wharf. It's like it was hot one day when we were there, the afternoon game.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time you're wearing jackets in San Fran in the middle of the summer.
Yeah. Jeff, you've been to a Major League game before?
I've been to see the Jays in Toronto. I'd like to see a few of those parks in the States, but so far that hasn't made the cut yet for things we're doing. So. Cows.
See, that's the
remember
cow.
that calving thing? Yeah.
The whole cow thing. It seems like a really good idea.
Yeah.
But like I said earlier, it's you're looking pretty smarter. You're looking pretty good right now.
For the moment.
For the moment.
Until you're not.
Well, but it's honestly it's about time.
Yes, for sure.
Right?
And like the canola thing, hopefully this lasts a little longer, which it seems to, and it's a good time for people to make a little money and pay off a few bills and work on some infrastructure and be rewarded for the hard work. So.
The markets, though, have really been kind of
ucky.
There's words we cannot use here on Rural Radio that are very appropriate descriptions of what the markets have been like. Mm-hmm. It's been very frustrating.
Yeah. You figure, well, it's going to rebound, and things keep falling and falling. And you look back in your text, you're talking to your grain buyer, and you were talking about $16 canola, and now we're fighting to get 15, and now we're fighting to get 14. And it just keeps falling. I don't know where we're going with this, but I know our inputs aren't dropping like our grain prices are. So.
Last week I was in Memphis, and that was some of the farmers down there. They were talking about that a lot. Is because there's a big fertilizer conference in Nashville last week. I think it's called the Southwest Fertilizer Conference, and that was kind of what a lot of people were bringing up. Is like, hey, why aren't these inputs dropping like the price of corn is? And you got to think it's, demand is going to be impacted, but at this point, they really haven't dropped. So I think it becomes a tough decision on when to purchase your fertilizer for the 25 crop, right, Jeff?
Yeah, for sure. We've cleaned out all our 23 crop. I don't have those bins of canola that I was wishing I'd sold still sitting there.
When was the last stuff you got rid of?
Just last month. We hit that little rally. We cleared out the rest of it and got rid of it. And seemed like a good time. Then it promptly went to 13.20 or whatever. So that was good to be gone, and I see it's coming back up now. Fertilizer, we'll start talking to our dealer here probably next month, but I don't know when we're going to commit. It's been a funny market to try to read these last few years on when the right time to get in is. So.
Yeah. John, how about you? How are you dealing with?
Well, I put in Hydroson, so it's not something I can bring home and store, so it's kind of when fall hits, gee, what's the price? Here's a check, and away we go. So it takes a little bit of the thinking out of it, but it certainly doesn't help. You have no management of it. It's tough to deal with. Pay the price and hope that crop prices are going to go up. I don't know. Right now, what I've locked in for malt prices looks like the Cinderella crop for this year compared to canola, but I guess we'll see where that ends up at the end of the day. Maybe this heat stays and we don't get any rain and we won't have any malt. So I don't know.
Protein would be too high, right?
Well, it's a good chance, yeah. Yeah. You get this kind of a dry, hot year, protein could be through the roof, and they don't want it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where relationships make a big difference, right? Like, last year we had some high chit, but we've been dealing with our maltster over the number of years, and they bought all our high chit. They want to keep customers. So if you have good relationships with your guys, that's huge.
Makes a big difference, Jeff.
Farming's nothing else but relationships, isn't it, really? I mean, you work with the people you work with, and you try to stick there and communicate, and hopefully somebody can help you out, and then down the road you can return the favor. So.
You know what? Okay, so and speaking of relationships, what I love here, Jeff, you and I just met here right before we started. I've known John for quite a while. You guys did not know each other. And that's what's kind of cool about these kind of events that we're doing here tonight. We're watching a great ball game. We're at a beautiful field, Remax Field here in downtown Edmonton. But you kind of get to meet some other people that are in the industry that you may or may not know, and you get a chance to connect. That's really kind of what it's all about. Like it's beautiful, smoky, hot day here in Edmonton. But I think this is so much fun. I really do enjoy this. So it's a good time.
What do farmers do when they leave the farm? Find other farmers and talk about farming, right?
Yeah, we talked about that one time on the show about how people would, when you go on a holiday, what's the chances you go visit another farm? It's like very high.
Very high. We just had some friends out. We met in Mexico. They finished some cattle on the island in Parksville. They're out for the Ponoka Stampede with us here a couple weeks ago, and it's like you've known them all your life. You talk about the same things. You have the same troubles. Just like a magnet drew you together.
Yep, same opportunities, same challenges. There's differences, but there's a lot of commonality.
And the differences are really exciting usually, right? Like, there's nothing like learning about a different crop that somebody else grows, or even how they're growing the same crop different. It's good. It's really interesting. Hey
guys, this has been so much fun. I really appreciate you joining me here today. I'll let you get back to the ball game. Enjoy the rest of it. There's great hamburgers, cheeseburgers, hot dogs, and especially cold beer. I'll let you get back to it. So, John, thanks a lot for joining me.
Thanks, Sean.
And, of course, Jeff, it was great to meet you, and we'll do this again.
My pleasure. Nice to meet you as well.
Yeah, we got to bring you into the Farmer Rapid Fire on Thursdays.
I've been thinking about it, but I haven't quite got there yet.
Okay,
so
well,
I'm a bit of an introvert, so I have a hard
Kelly,
time
it's
talking.
easy. It's super easy.
Nothing to it. You usually aren't doing anything when Sean calls.
I hear that all the time. Tractors beeping, cows bawling.
Beep, beep, beep. It's a lot of fun. Hey, I really want to thank BASF Canada Agricultural Solutions and InVigor Hybrid Canola for having us out here for Game 2 of the InVigor Series. We have one more game. Next Saturday night, we're going to be in Saskatoon. Saskatoon Berries are playing the Okotoks Dogs in some WCBL action. So I'll be there in Saskatoon for that game. Looking forward to it. Hey, thanks, everybody. If you have any feedback, send me an email, shaney@realagriculture.com. And thanks so much for getting real and getting connected with RealAg Radio.